Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we are going to tackle a subject that I think it keeps most of us up at night. It's that nagging, persistent feeling of discrepancy. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, I do. It's that universal frustration.
It is. You look at your life, you look at the effort you are putting in, the late nights, the stress, the grind, and then you look at the output.
And the math just doesn't add up.
For so many people, it just doesn't. And it's sort of the defining angst of the modern era, isn't it? We are working harder than we ever have before.
We're more connected, we have more tools, but people feel like they are on a treadmill. And that treadmill is just slowly speeding up while they're staying in the exact same spot.
Exactly. And we've all heard the standard advice. I mean, you listen to Diaries of a CEO or scroll through any social media feed, and the narrative is usually pretty clear.
It's always hustle more.
Right. You just need to hustle more. You need to wake up at 4 a.m. You need to want it more. But today, we're going to challenge that. We're actually going to completely deconstruct that narrative.
We are. We're looking at a source that says, essentially, hard work is great, it's necessary, but without the other two parts of the formula, it's actually a trap.
A trap. That's a strong word.
It is, but think about it. If hard work were the only variable for success, the wealthiest and, the most fulfilled people on the planet would be the folks working 3 manual labor jobs just to keep the lights on.
And we know, statistically, that's just not the case.
It's not. So there is a missing link. There is a variable X that we're all ignoring.
And today, we are going deep into that variable. We're breaking down a very specific 3-part formula for success that actually claims to be a 100% guarantee if you follow the protocol.
Which is another massive claim.
A huge claim. And what I love about this, what really drew me in, is the source. We're not looking at a tech bro from Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
We're not looking at a Wall Street hedge fund manager.
No, not at all. This is what makes today's deep dive so unique. We are analyzing the teachings of a man named Osman.
That's not the name most people know him by.
No. To his followers, to his clients, he's known as the blind Muslim yogi.
That title alone just stops you in your tracks, doesn't it?
It really does.
The blind Muslim yogi. It sounds like a character from a fable, or maybe guess you'd hear on a really esoteric show like Buddha at the Gas Pump with Rick Archer.
It has that mystical quality, for sure, but I want to be very clear right off the bat, his background is incredibly technical, it's rigorous, and it's steeped in both ancient tradition and a very modern pragmatism.
Okay, so we need to understand the man before we can really get the method.
I think so, because his credentials are what give this whole formula its weight.
So let's get into it. Let's unpack Osman. Who is he?
Okay, so Osman is a bioenergy healer, and he operates at what is described as a master level.
Bioenergy. So we're in the territory of, say, a Deepak Chopra. The idea that the body is energy, not just matter.
We are, but Osman takes this a pretty significant step further. He claims to have, the term he uses is telepathic healing capabilities.
Telepathic.
And he says this capability uses the principles of quantum entanglement.
Quantum entanglement. Let's just pause there for a second, because not everyone listening is a physics major. That's the concept Einstein famously called spooky action at a distance.
Yeah, it's the one. It's a verified phenomenon in quantum physics. It's not theory. It's this idea that 2 particles can become linked or entangled. And if you change the state of one of them,
The other one responds instantly.
instantly, even if they're on opposite sides of the universe, there's no time delay. It's faster than the speed of light.
It breaks our classical understanding of physics.
It completely does. And Osman's work is based on the idea that consciousness and what the yogis call prana, or life force, operates on this quantum field.
So for his work, distance is irrelevant.
Completely irrelevant, which is a massive claim, but like you said, it frames the level he is operating at. We're not talking about minor aches and pains here.
No, his specialization is pretty intense.
It is. He specializes in critical care recovery, terminal illnesses, and a really wide spectrum of physiological, psychological, and even spiritual ailments. This is, high-stakes work.
And he has the experience to back it up. This isn't someone who just took a weekend course.
Not at all. He has been practicing yoga and meditation at an advanced level for 50 years. 50.
50 years.
Yeah.
That's a lifetime of dedication.
It really is. And he started young. He apparently attained his first samadhi experience by the age of 19.
Samadhi. For those who don't know, that's not just deep meditation. That's considered the pinnacle state, right? A state of complete absorption where the self sort of dissolves.
It is. I mean, if you read Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda, or you look at the lives of these huge figures like Ramakrishna or Swami Sivananda from the Divine Life Society, you realize how incredibly rare and difficult that is to achieve.
Especially at 19, that's almost unheard of.
It suggests a profound innate capacity. But what's important is that he didn't just stay in a cave after that. He studied, and he studied broadly.
That's the key, right? He didn't just stick to one tradition.
Not at all. He has been teaching for 46 years, but his own education is global. He studied under masters from the Far East, the Middle East, the West. But, and this is a point he really emphasizes,
The scientific communities.
the scientific communities. I noticed that correction in our notes, too. It's significant. He isn't just relying on faith or ancient texts. He's actively seeking out the scientific validation, the repeatable, observable evidence.
He's building a bridge between those two worlds.
He is. You have the sort of mysticism of the East think Yogananda or Swami Vivekananda,
Yeah.
and then you have the rigorous inquiry of the West. He wants to know why it works, not just that it works.
And this leads us to his core philosophy, which for a yogi is surprisingly, well, pragmatic.
Aggressively pragmatic. He
Yeah.
calls his approach results-based.
I absolutely love his rule on this. If it's not going to produce a result, throw it out of the window.
It's so refreshing, isn't it? Because sometimes in the spiritual or self-help community, there's a lot of fluff.
A lot of just trust the process, or it's not about the destination.
Right. And Osman is saying, no, we are in the 21st century. We have mortgages to pay. We have anxiety. We have limited time on this planet. We need protocols that actually work.
He wants to improve your spirit, yes, but he explicitly talks about improving your lifestyle and your financial success. He doesn't see them as separate things.
No, for him, it's all interconnected. A sick body or a broke bank account creates stress that blocks spiritual progress. It's a holistic view.
So to recap, we have a master healer with half a century of experience who understands quantum mechanics, achieved samadhi as a teenager, studied globally, and demands real-world results.
And this is the person who is telling us there is a guaranteed formula for success.
And he's simplified it down to just 3 keys, not a 100-step program.
Just 3. But here is the catch, and he is very clear on this. They must work in unison. It's like a 3-legged stool.
Right. You can have the strongest, most beautifully carved leg in the world, but if you're missing the other 2.
The whole thing falls over every time.
Okay, so let's build the stool. Let's get to it. What is key number 1?
Key number 1 is the one we all know. It's the one our parents taught us. It's the one society screams at us from the time we're 5 years old. Key number 1 is hard work.
The engine.
The engine, exactly. But Osman frames this as a bit of a trap. He talks about his own upbringing and this lesson he was taught, which is hard work is always crowned with success.
The Victorian promise. The Protestant work ethic.
It is. It's the American dream in a sentence. And it's what we see on every motivational Instagram post, you know? Outwork everyone, rise and grind.
And to be clear, Osman isn't saying hard work is bad.
No, absolutely not. He says hard work is necessary. It's the price of entry. You can't sit on the couch and manifest $1 million by just thinking about it. Action is required.
But, and this is the big but, he observed very early on that this promise is, at best, a half-truth.
A dangerous half-truth. He saw people working these back-breaking jobs 12, 14 hours a day for decades, and they never made it.
They died poor, unfulfilled, and just exhausted.
Exactly. So in logical terms, what he's saying is that hard work is necessary, but it's not sufficient.
Right. If hard work is all you have, you're just spinning your wheels. You've got this incredibly powerful engine, but you're in a car with no steering wheel and no driver.
Perfect analogy. You are just burning gas, making a lot of noise, and creating a lot of smoke, but you're not actually going anywhere.
Which brings us, very neatly, to key number 2,
The steering wheel.
which he calls strategy.
Yes, strategy.
Now, strategy is a huge buzzword. Everyone, from a CEO to a social media influencer, claims to have a strategy. What does Osman mean specifically when he uses this word?
Well, what I found really honest is that he admits he only really understood the vital life or death need for strategy in his mature adult life, so in his 40s.
So it wasn't intuitive for him either.
Not at all. And for him, strategy isn't just business plan you write once and put in a drawer. He sees it as a dynamic survival mechanism for the modern age. And he brings up a point that is incredibly current: artificial intelligence.
That is fascinating for Yogi to be bringing up AI.
It really shows how tuned in he is to the modern world. He's not detached. He explicitly warns that AI is taking over manual labor. It's automating the hard work component we just talked about.
So if your only value to the marketplace is I can work hard, or I can type fast, or I can lift this box.
You're in serious trouble. A machine can do it faster, cheaper, and without needing a lunch break. So to survive and thrive, he says, you must step up into strategic entrepreneurship.
You have to become the chess player, not just the chess piece.
Precisely. You need to be thinking 3, 4, 5 moves ahead. You need multiple sources of income. You need to know how to navigate the board.
And he gives us a very specific toolkit for this. This isn't just abstract advice.
No, and I love this part. He says you don't need to go $100,000 in debt for an MBA degree.
Just read the books that the MBA students are assigned.
It's such a great hack. The knowledge is in the books, not the diploma. And his reading list is really eclectic. It's not just, 10 ways to make more money.
No, it's a mix of psychology, ancient warfare, and human dynamics. Let's start with the first one he recommends, Dale Carnegie.
A true classic. He recommends 2. How to win friends and influence people, and how to stop worrying and start living.
Okay, so why those specifically? What's the strategic value there?
Think about it in that AI context again. What can ChatGPT not do, at least not yet? It can't genuinely empathize. It can't look you in the eye and build real trust. It can't navigate the complex emotional politics of a boardroom meeting.
Right, it can't read the room.
Exactly. Carnegie teaches the soft skills that are rapidly becoming the hard currency of the future. Communication, influence, likability. If you can't connect with people, your brilliant strategy is worthless because you can't get anyone to buy into it.
And the second one, how to stop worrying, that's about the internal game. You can't be a grandmaster chess player if you're paralyzed by anxiety every time you touch a piece.
Correct. Your strategy is only as good as your state of mind. But then he recommends a book that I think is the secret weapon in this list. It's a book called Sleight of Mouth.
By Robert Dilts. This takes us right into the world of NLP, neuro-linguistic programming.
It does. And you know who is a master of this? Tony Robbins. Osman actually refers to Tony Robbins as the world's #1 business coach, and this is his core technology.
Right. Robbins can get on stage and completely change someone's lifelong phobia in minutes just by changing their language patterns.
That's exactly what this is. Sleight of Mouth is about the magic of language. The title is a play on sleight of hand. Just as a magician uses misdirection to change what you see, a master communicator uses language to change how you perceive reality.
So give us an example. How would this fit into Osman's success formula in a practical sense?
Okay, imagine you're in a negotiation. The other person says, I can't sign this deal, it's too risky. Now, that is a belief they hold. A hard worker without strategy might just argue back, no, it's not, it's a great deal.
Which just makes the other person dig their heels in.
Exactly. But a strategist using a sleight of mouth pattern would reframe it. They might say something like, the risk of doing it is one thing, but have you considered the risk of not doing it? Or, what would have to be true for this to feel less risky for you?
So you're not attacking their belief. You're changing the frame around the belief. The ground completely shifts under their feet.
You've just changed the entire direction of the conversation. Osman says this ability to scientifically convince someone to change their viewpoint is a modern superpower.
He even makes the claim that it can bridge gaps as wide as the one between an atheist and a believer.
Right, and he's not saying you should go around trying to convert people. He's just illustrating the sheer power of the tool. If you can learn to navigate something as deep-rooted as a belief about God, navigating a simple business objection becomes child's play.
Okay, so that's a powerful tool for influence. But then there's the third book on his list, which feels a little darker.
It does. It's 36 Chinese Strategies for Business.
This is based on ancient military tactics, right? Like Sun Tzu's Art of War, but maybe even more cunning.
It is. Osman specifically recommends a version written by a Vietnamese author that he says really opened his mind, but he attaches a very, very crucial ethical warning here.
Right. He doesn't say, go use these to trick people. He says, study it so you don't get scammed.
Exactly. The 36 strategies include things like lure the tiger out of the mountain, kill with a borrowed knife, feign madness but keep your balance. These are, at their core, tactics of deception.
Not very yogi-like on the surface.
Not at all. But Osman is a pragmatist. He's not telling you to go out and be a cheat. He says use these principles in a legitimate manner. But more importantly, you have to be woke to the fact that other people are absolutely using them against you.
So it's defensive driving for business.
That's the perfect way to put it. In a world of phishing scams, crypto fraud, and shady corporate maneuvering, if you're naive, you will be eaten alive. Your hard work will not save you from a clever scam.
You need the strategy to spot the trap before you even step in it.
You do. So the strategy is offense, Carnegie, and DILTs, and defense, the 36 strategies. But there's one more piece to the second key that I found incredibly actionable.
The Court-Knight assessment.
Yes. For me, this might be the most practical takeaway for anyone listening today. He attributes this technique to a business mentor of his who was connected to Harvard Business School principles.
And the rule is so simple. Assess your life and your business every 2 weeks.
Every single fortnight. Not every quarter. Definitely not every year.
Why so frequently?
Because the world moves too fast now for annual reviews.
Wow.
If you wait 90 days to realize a marketing campaign isn't working, you have just wasted a quarter of your year and a ton of money.
He says you have to ask one simple question every 2 weeks.
Am I moving in the direction of my goal, or is nothing happening?
Is nothing happening? That is the killer question, because so many of us confuse being busy with making progress.
We do. Busy does not mean effective. You can be busy answering emails and attending pointless meetings for 2 solid weeks and have moved 0 inches closer to your actual goal.
And Osman says if the answer is nothing is happening, you don't just give it more time or trust the process.
No, you pivot immediately. You don't abandon the goal, but you change the strategy. You tweak the plan.
It's like the agile methodology they use in software development.
Yeah.
Iterate, test, pivot, repeat.
That's a great comparison. He says the old advice of just give it 6 months is incredibly dangerous in today's world. If you're digging a hole in the wrong spot, digging for 6 months just gives you a really, really deep, useless hole.
Okay, so this is huge. We have the engine, which is hard work. We have the steering wheel, which is strategy reading the right books, understanding defense, and this constant 2-week assessment.
Most people stop there.
They do. They think if I work hard and I'm smart about it, I'll win. But Osman says no. There's a third key, a third leg for the stool. And this is the one that explains why so many smart, hardworking people still fail.
This is the missing link. Key number 3 is all about your wiring. He calls it being wired for success.
And when he says wiring, we're not talking about your computer. We're talking about the subconscious mind.
We are, and Osman drops a statistic here that is, frankly, terrifying if you really stop and think about it.
What's the number?
He claims that up to 97% of our behavior is controlled by the subconscious mind, the automatic programming. Only 3% is the conscious mind.
97%. So let me get this straight. The you that is listening to this deep dive right now, the you that decides to start a new business, the you that sets a New Year's resolution, that's only 3% of the committee.
That's it. You are the rider on top of a massive elephant. The rider, your conscious mind, decides, I want to go left, towards success. But if the elephant, that 97% subconscious programming, wants to go right, towards safety or the familiar, guess where you're going?
You are going right, and you won't even know why. You'll just call it procrastination or bad luck, or you'll suddenly get sick right before the big presentation.
It's self-sabotage. It's the invisible wall that people keep hitting. If your internal wiring, your deep-seated hidden beliefs, says money is the root of all evil, or I'm not worthy of success, or if I get too successful, my friends will abandon me,
then your subconscious will destroy your brilliant strategy. It will undermine all your hard work.
It will find a way to make you fail because its primary job is to protect you, and it thinks success is a threat.
So this is the core of it. How do we rewire the elephant? Because you can't just talk to it. You can't reason with your subconscious. It doesn't speak English. It speaks in feelings, symbols, and repetition.
And this is where Osman provides 2 very distinct pathways to fix this wiring. One is physiological, through the body, and the other is psychological, through the mind.
Okay, let's start with the body, the physiological approach. This takes us right back to his 50 years of experience as a yogi.
Exactly. He talks about a specific practice called pranayama.
Which is essentially breath work.
It's breath work, but with a very specific intention. You know, we hear about breathwork a lot these days. Professor Andrew Huberman at Stanford talks constantly about things like the physiological sigh and how specific breathing patterns can directly downregulate your nervous system.
Wim Hof talks about it for boosting the immune system.
Right. But Osman is talking about it from the classical yogic perspective, which is all about the nadis.
Okay, explain nadis for us. This is a new term for many people.
In the yogic tradition, and you'll find this in the writings of Swami Sivananda or in books about Kundalini by people like Gopi Krishna, the nadis are the subtle energy channels that carry prana or life force through the body.
They're like the wiring of the subtle body.
Perfect way to put it. There are said to be 72,000 of them, and Osman describes them almost like physical pipes that can get clogged with subconscious matter.
So our trauma, our fear, our self-doubt, according to this model, these aren't just abstract thoughts. They are actual physical gunk in our system.
According to this model, yes, they are energetic blockages. And what Osman says is that by doing specific, targeted pranayama exercises, you are physically flushing these channels. You are cleaning out the hardware.
And the result isn't just, I feel a bit more relaxed.
No. The result he describes is centeredness or togetherness. He says that as you clean the nadis over days and weeks, the internal friction just disappears. You become goal-oriented naturally. You don't have to force yourself to work with willpower. You just do it because the internal resistance is gone.
And again, he's a pragmatist. He has a very specific protocol for this. He's not telling us we need to go to a monastery and meditate for 8 hours a day.
No, he advocates for what he calls a 5-minute yoga and meditation program. He is all about efficiency. He claims you can feel a tangible difference, that sense of togetherness, on the very first day you do it.
And he says, do in the comfort of your bed. I love that. Just removes every possible excuse.
It does. His philosophy is that it's better to do 5 minutes effectively every single day than to read 100 books about meditation for 10 years and never actually sit down and do it.
Okay, so that's the physiological side. That's cleaning the hardware. What about the software, the psychological reprogramming of that 97%?
This is where he brings in a technique he calls aggressive repetition, and he points to very specific modern figures for this.
He mentions Vishen Lakhiani of Mind Valley.
He does. He calls him the world's #1 self-motivation coach, and again he brings up Tony Robbins. This approach also aligns with teachings you might find in books like The Secret or Napoleon Hill's work on the law of attraction, but Osman makes it very, very actionable.
How do we do it? What's the protocol?
It's simple. He says to find audio programs online. You can find them for free all over YouTube affirmations, success mindset courses, motivational speeches, and listen to them constantly.
Not just once.
Constantly. While you're driving, walking the dog, doing the dishes, any free moment. He even suggests converting them to MP3s so they're always on your phone.
But he says something really interesting about how to listen. He says, don't worry about the logic initially.
This is the absolute key to this method. You are not listening to learn in the intellectual sense. You are not taking notes for a test. You are listening to immerse. You are, for lack of a better word, brainwashing yourself in a positive direction.
The goal is for it to become your nature.
Exactly. It's like learning a new language by moving to the country. If you hear French spoken around you 24/7, eventually you start thinking and even dreaming in French. Osman wants us to start thinking and dreaming in the language of success.
It's pure neuroplasticity. Again, something Dr. Andrew Huberman talks about all the time. The brain literally rewires itself based on the input it receives.
If you flood the system with messages like, I am successful, I am capable, I am a magnet for opportunities, eventually that 97% subconscious elephant starts to accept that as the default reality. And once the elephant agrees with the rider,
there's nothing that can stop you. You have alignment.
You have total alignment, and that is the complete formula.
So let's lay it out one more time. The three-legged stool. 1, hard work. That's the engine. It's necessary but not sufficient. 2, strategy. That's the steering wheel. Using the right books, understanding defense, and that constant fortnight assessment. 3, wiring. That's the driver. Cleaning the 90s with breath work and reprogramming the subconscious with audio.
It's a holistic ecosystem for success. And Osman is the living proof of it. But I want to pivot for a moment to how he actually applies all this in his own life, because his business model is absolutely fascinating. He isn't just some guru on a mountain. He is a sharp entrepreneur.
Yes, we have to talk about the Starbucks offer.
It is brilliant marketing. He offers a 10-minute anxiety fix, and he charges $5 for it.
Less than a fancy latte. And how does he deliver this service?
Telepathically.
From anywhere in the world.
From anywhere. This goes right back to that quantum entanglement principle we talked about at the beginning. He claims that whether you're in New York or Tokyo, he can connect to your energy field and help alleviate your anxiety in just 10 minutes.
From a pure business strategy perspective, that is the ultimate low barrier to entry offer. It's an irresistible hook.
It is. It allows people who might be skeptical to test the waters. If it works for them, they're amazed and their belief is established. If it doesn't, they're out $5. But he says it works, and that builds the trust that leads people to his higher-end offerings.
Which is the critical care healing.
That's his master level work, healing for terminal illnesses, helping with recovery from major surgery, things like that. And he is very, very transparent here. This service is not inexpensive.
And he justifies the price with the hard work principle, the first key we discussed.
He does, and he's very direct about it. He explains that this ability he has is the direct result of 50 years of intense training. He talks about periods in his life where he would practice for up to 18 hours a day.
18 hours a day. That is elite athlete level dedication. That's Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan level.
It absolutely is. He says that even now, in his mature years, he still practices a minimum of 8 to 10 hours a day just to sharpen the sword. He's telling the client, you are not paying for this 1 hour of healing. You are paying for the 50 years and thousands of hours of practice that allow me to do this for you in an hour.
But, and this is a massive but that we really need to highlight for our listeners, he has a very specific and very important disclaimer about conventional medicine.
Yes, and this speaks to his integrity. Osman is crystal clear. His services are complementary. They are not a replacement for medical treatment.
He is not telling people with cancer to stop their chemotherapy. He is not telling diabetics to throw away their insulin.
Absolutely not. He's very responsible. He positions his bioenergy healing as something to enhance whatever is lacking in traditional medicine. He sees it as a partnership. You see your doctor, you take your prescribed treatment, and you can use his energy work to boost your body's own capacity to handle the treatment and recover faster. It's a very modern, integrative approach.
And I think that sense of responsibility bleeds directly into his final piece of advice, which is about ethics in business.
Yes. His advice is, always do things the long way.
In this era of life hacks and get-rich-quick schemes, that advice really stands out. He warns that the quick gains, the scams, the fraud, cutting corners, they always lead to headaches.
And he means that literally and figuratively, I think. If you are running a scam, your subconscious knows it. You create that internal friction we talked about. You live in a state of constant fear of being caught.
That fear clogs the nads. That anxiety rewires your brain for failure, not success.
Exactly. So Osman argues that being ethical, doing things legally, being transparent, doing things the long way is actually the most efficient and pragmatic strategy for long-term sustainable success.
It's the ultimate peace of mind hack. If you're not breaking the law, you have nothing to worry about.
Precisely. He wants you to be able to sleep at night. He says, avoid fraud, but be woke to the fact that others will try to cheat you. It's that perfect balance again. The heart of a yogi and the strategic mind of a general.
So we have this incredible synthesis. The blind Muslim yogi. He's got the quantum physics of a Deepak Chopra, the breathwork science of an Andrew Huberman, the business strategy of Harvard, and the street smarts of a survivor.
And he's sharing this as his mission. He says his goal is to encourage a scientific, results-based approach to these ancient sciences. He wants to revive them to help modern society, not just for some lofty goal of enlightenment, but for practical things like health, peace of mind, relationships, and financial freedom.
And he makes a huge amount of this available for free, which is also part of his model.
He does. He directs people to his website, which is yogawellness786.com. And on there, you can find the free 5-minute yoga download he mentioned. You can book free consultations and get the contact info for that $5 telepathic anxiety fix.
He also has a YouTube channel.
Yes, where he shares these techniques and his philosophy completely openly. And then for those who want that deeper guided engagement, he has a Patreon channel.
And that's where the paid services are.
That's where you find the paid live daily lessons, the group sessions, and the one-on-one consultations. But he insists, and I really respect this, that he doesn't withhold the secrets for the paid tier. The information is all there for free on YouTube. The personal guidance and the energy healing are what you pay for.
That is a class act, a really transparent model. So let's bring this all home for the listener. If you are out there and you feel stuck on that treadmill, Osman suggests you need to do an honest audit of your 3 keys.
You have to ask yourself 3 questions. Number 1, am I really working hard? Is the engine actually running, or am I just coasting?
Number 2, is my strategy sound? Am I reading the right books? Am I assessing my progress every 2 weeks? Or am I just digging that deep, useless hole in the wrong place?
And finally, number 3, maybe the most important. Is my wiring clean? Have I done the work to clear out the subconscious blocks? Am I actively programming my mind for success, or am I just letting those old tapes of failure and unworthiness play on a loop in the background?
It's a powerful and a very complete checklist. And I want to leave our listener with one final thought, specifically on that wiring piece,
And 97%.
the 97%. Just sit with that number for a second. You might be the hardest worker in your entire industry. You might have a business plan that's better than Apple's was in 1997. But if you haven't cleaned your 90s, if you haven't reprogrammed that inner elephant that's running the show, is it possible you're just fighting a war against your own mind?
That is a haunting question, but it's also a hopeful one.
How so?
Because it means the problem isn't out there. It's not the economy, it's not your boss, it's not bad luck. The problem, and therefore the solution, is within your control.
The tools are there.
The tools are there. Breathe, listen, assess, and pivot.
If you want to dive deeper into Osman's world and his teachings, check out his website, yogawellness786.com. We will be back next time with another deep dive into the minds and the methods that can change your life. Until then, keep checking your wiring.
Stay curious.
We'll see you next time.